Hey, hello, honor students. How's everybody doing? Some fines, maybe some okays,
A few minutes.
few mehs. It's Friday when we're recording this, so we're feeling great.
This is lovely.
It's just so lovely. I'm Brett Person,
I'm Feth Singh.
and we're two members of the honors program. You might know us. You might also know us from a video we did last year on how to register, and that was called
The art of registration.
Yes, the art of registration. We think it was well done and helpful. I don't know if you all experienced it that way, but we hope you did. We wanted to do a video this year, specifically a video on how to understand your honors requirements on DARS. And that's because we get a lot of appointments from students that just need help understanding the honors courses they've completed and what they still need. So this video will help a lot with the former, help you understand what you've taken and completed, and maybe through that help you better understand what you still need.
Yep, so we're going to start by just going over the basic honors course requirements. We'll move into a little section about the how to read your DARS, and that'll include a section for honor students who are admitted as incoming first years and for those who are considered transfer students. Then we'll wrap up with some main takeaways and think a little bit about the future, how to plan out the rest of your honors courses, and including contracts and petitions.
Okay, so a brief reminder to start, you got to take honors courses. Hopefully that's not a reminder. Hopefully you all knew that, but that's the main part of being in honors, taking honors courses. So these two images you might be familiar with. The one on the left we've been presenting at orientations the past couple of summers, goes over the 10 course honors requirement, 10 courses over the time of your being here at Temple, specifically taking English 902, Intellectual Heritage 951 and 952, or the Mosaic sequence for some of you, four upper level honors courses of your choosing, and then a few more courses at any level. The one on the right is an image taken from the Honors Handbook. We've included that because this one speaks specifically to the transfer student requirement, students that join honors after their first semester at Temple or who actually transfer to the university as well. So depending on their credit total at the time of admission to honors, they may have fewer honors courses to complete. Instead of 10, they may complete 8 or 6.
You can find the handbook in more detail by going to the honors website, clicking on About, and then clicking on Program Requirements at the top. We've published several over the last few years, so all you need to do is find the year that you were admitted to the program and use that as your handbook. Once you know what the requirements are, you can figure out how your progress is going towards that goal. You can peruse your academic history on Banner, or what we suggest doing is finding the degree audit report, which is what we've been calling DARS. To do this, you'll log into TU Portal, click on Student Tools, and at the bottom of that list, you'll see something that says Degree Audit. You'll use that, move forward to log in on TU using your TU AccessNet username, and then you'll click Run Audit, which will launch a new page, and then it'll take a few seconds for your DARS to pop up, so just be patient.
Okay, and once it pops up, it's a page that isn't the most aesthetically pleasing or common or logical, it seems, but it is pretty effective at going through all of your course requirements. Now, the honors section on DARS is at the bottom of the Gen Ed section, so scroll through all the Gen Ed categories. U.S. Society is usually the last one, and just below that, you'll see your honors requirements. Okay. The first sections of the honors requirements are for your English 0902 and intellectual heritage sequence. So, for instance, if you took English 902 or placed out of it, it'll show up as a green check mark here. Okay, if you haven't taken it yet, or if you're currently in it, it'll be a red X. Now, this is a great example of this student here because this student placed out of English 902 through scoring high enough on the English placement test. And once again, it could also show up this way if the student had AP or IB credit for English. Now, this does not count as an honors requirement. Only taking English 902 counts. So any other way of meeting it does not count as one of your 10 honors courses.
Right below that, you'll see the Honors Mosaic, aka Intellectual Heritage. Both IH 0951 and IH 0952 will show up here. Both are required to be taken in honors. So this student, since they placed out of analytical reading and writing, but took both IH 0951 and IH 0952, has 2 honors courses completed thus far. If they had actually taken English 0902, they would have 3.
Okay, so far we've looked at those 3 required courses that all honor students need to take. Now we move on to the sections with a little bit more choice. First up is the honors upper level courses. And remember, you need at least 4 of these. Here's my recommendation. You'll see on here the phrase is sets taken or sets needed. Ignore these. Just count the number of 3 or 4 credit honors courses that you see in this section. For instance, this student has completed 2 and is currently registered for their 3rd. So after this semester, they'll have, hopefully, 3 complete, needing 1 more.
Here's an example of why to ignore those sets taken and sets needed numbers. This student has really completed 3 upper level honors courses, but DARS says they still need 3. That's incorrect. The student needs 1. Ignore the sets taken and sets needed numbers. Just count the 3 and 4 credit honors courses that show up here with passing grades. We won't get into why this error occurs, but if you want to know, Brad would be happy to chat with you about it.
Indeed, I would be. Okay. Next is the any level honors course requirement. All right. Generally speaking, students need about 3 to 4 additional courses at any level. Once again, just count the 3 or 4 credit courses here. This student, for instance, has 5 courses that count. Those labs that are 1 credit don't count.
So add all those up. You get your English 102 and Mosaics, your upper levels, and your any levels. That's your total number of honors courses completed. This person has 10. Yay! Except
Ooh,
the student still needs 1 more upper level honors courses to get the 4 that are actually required.
tricky. Very tricky.
Very tricky.
But good to know, Seth. Thank you. All right. So now let's look at what DARS looks like for students that transferred into the program, because it looks a little bit different, right? The first section for an honors transfer student looks at the upper level courses. Just like students that join honors right out of high school, all honors transfer students need to complete at least 4 upper level honors courses. Now, the same advice applies here. Don't use the numbers in the sets taken or sets needed. Just count the number of 3 or 4 credit honors courses that show up here. So for this student, while 5 show up, only 3 count, since 2 of those are 1 credit labs.
Here's another example. This student has completed 1, is registered for 1 more, and after this semester will need 2 more. Notice that the course they took is a contract. You can tell by the fact that it is not an honors number. Contracts only show up here after the end of the semester when the project has been confirmed by the professor, grades have been posted, and an honors staff member has added it manually to your DARS.
Okay, after the upper level sections, we have 2 more sections that are basically for courses taken at any level. Now, depending on how many courses you were told that you needed to complete at the time of admission, remember for transfer students that's 10, 8, or 6, the number of courses you need here will be different. DARS, however, is not that sophisticated. It'll always look like you need 10. So don't worry if DARS looks like you still need more even after you think you've finished your requirements. In these sections, just count the 3 or 4 credit honors courses to see how many total you've completed.
If you can't remember how many honors courses you need to complete, you can either check in your advising notes by going to Student Tools, then clicking on Records and finding Advising Sessions. You'll look for a note from us at the time of your admission to honors, and that note will tell you the required number in it. Or if you can't find it, just come see us.
Okay, major takeaways here, right? Number 1, for all students, make sure you are not counting AP or IB English credit or the placement test waiver for English as an honors course. Remember, that does not count. The only way to count that requirement as an honors course is if you take English 902 at Temple.
When in doubt, count. Don't rely on DARS telling you how many you've taken or still need. Just count up the 3 and 4 credit honors courses and contracts that show up on your DARS in honors sections for a good idea of how many you've taken and how many you still need.
And lastly, if you're still in doubt, that's okay. Once again, DARS is not a perfect system. We understand the confusion that comes along with it sometimes. But if you're still in doubt, come and chat with us. The sooner, the better. Don't get to your senior year without knowing what your honor standing is course-wise. We want to make sure we're on the same page while there's still time to fix things if need be. For instance, if you think that you're still going to need more that you can't fit, we'll talk about doing honors contracts. And if that isn't even enough, we'll talk about petitioning for additional flexibility. But once again, coming in sooner so we can have that conversation before you need to do that is better.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.